In this video, we're going to go through the entire process of setting up all of the video files so that they work correctly with RTN Edit. So that RTN Edit can find them, bring them into the system, edit them, and then eventually prepare them for upload to YouTube and sending the data back to Road to Nationals. First thing you're going to want to do is open up the tool itself. You can do that by going to Window, Extensions, RTN Edit. You can either let it float around or you can grab it and dock it. It'll dock into wherever you're most comfortable. I like it right here. And then you have a couple of options here. The first one is it a men's meet or a women's meet? All that really does is it changes the events that you can send them to, but it also changes the API endpoint that the service is going to use to ask for the video files. And so if you give it a meet ID that is from a men's meet instead of a women's meet, then it probably won't find you and it'll give you an error code. In this case, we're looking for a women's meet. And we can find the women's meets by going on to Road to Nationals and going to the video page. And right here you've got a meet ID number that you can copy, paste it in there. Do the same thing with the meet code. It's always a 9-digit number. Now you're able to download and send data to RTN because it recognizes that these numbers are here and valid. The video file extension depends on what kind of video files you have. In this project that I'm doing right now, I actually have primarily .mov files. Now I have a couple MP4s in here, but primarily they're MOVs, and so to save myself a little time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to MOV. And that'll just make it so that the downloaded CSV file has that already in there for most of the files, and that'll work pretty good for us. Click Download CSV. I'm going to download it to that same folder. That's why we actually put this motion graphics file in here. It's just because it makes it easier to click on when it asks you for it later. Otherwise, you'd have to search around the file system for it. You're free to use any motion graphics template you want. It doesn't have to be the one that we gave you inside of these templates. It can be anything you like, or nothing at all. If you don't select one, it just will ignore it. So click Open, and it tells us up here that the CSV saved successfully. Now that we have our CSV file downloaded, we can verify that the CSV file actually describes the files on the system the way that they are. What I mean by that is, if you open up the CSV file that was downloaded in Excel, you can see that what it's looking for is a file name that is the first name and the last name with the file extension. Now we have a couple files here that are MP4s that we changed. If we didn't change these, it would come up with an error and it would tell us that it's missing these files, and you'd have to come back in here and change them again. In this case, we've already changed them, so it's going to find the files because they're written the way that they are. And we could also come in here and set the order if we wanted to. If you set this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or however you wanted to do it, that's the order that they would be brought in. Otherwise, it'll come in exactly like they are. So it'll be Courtney, Katie, Tyra, Melissa in that order. In this case, we're going to go ahead and hit Verify CSV. It verified successfully. If it didn't, you would have gotten a pop-up that told you which ones you needed to change, and you needed to go and make sure that those files actually exist. And then you're going to click to assemble videos. The same folder, you're going to click. It's asking you to choose a MOGRT, which is a motion graphics template. That's that little fly-in that we had. You could omit this if you wanted to and not do it. We're going to go ahead and import it. We're going to choose the size of our sequence. About halfway done now. And it's all done. Now what you want to end up with is you want to end up with 4 files, right? You want to have one for vault, bars, beam, floor, or if you're doing a men's meet, 6 files. One for each event. And that means that essentially you just need to come in, edit them. If there's a name problem, you can change that. In this case, we've got a video here that's a smaller size. And so we're going to set it to the frame size so that they all match. You can shrink them up, do whatever you have to do to get the files the way that you want. You can even rearrange the order if you'd like, although that's a lot easier to do in the beginning. by setting it in the CSV file. And then you need to export it. So you say File, Export, Media. This is totally up to you. You can edit however you like. I always export mine into a folder called Exports and queue it. It shows up in Media Encoder as a queued file. And then I go to the next one. Same thing here. Edit it to your heart's content. And then export media. Queue. Now you've got two of them. We'll pretend that we did the other two events as well. Come into Media Encoder. Start encoding. Take a break. This usually takes, 5 minutes for it to export. Sometimes it can be more depending on the quality of your video and the speed of your machine. But take a break, and when it's done, we'll upload to YouTube and then send it back. Uploading videos to YouTube is pretty simple. Once you're logged in, you click the Upload Video button. And then I usually just drag all of my videos at the same time and start them uploading. This process doesn't take very long. There is if you come into the folder that you've been building things, one of the things that gets output is called YouTube text.txt. If you open this, you'll see that it has already a couple things in it. So I've got bars right here, and I can just copy them in. This is how I usually do it. You can do it how you like. It's there as a help. And usually you have a couple minutes while this is uploading, so it seems like it's a pretty easy thing to do. Vault. Okay, and so now you just wait till it's done uploading. It may take a few minutes. While you're waiting for the videos to upload to YouTube, it's a good time to note the YouTube IDs for each video and copy them over into RTN Edit so that you can upload the data back to Roach Nationals. The IDs are located here in this URL. It's the last 11 digits. You can see this on every single YouTube video anywhere on the site. And it's always 11 digits long. It's always after the trailing backslash. Sometimes there's some really weird letters in here like dashes and underscores. Just grab everything that's there and copy it over into the event fields in RTN Edit and then click Send Data to RTN. And you should see a little pop-up that comes up that says that all the results were saved successfully. Assuming that happens, then you want to go back into Road to Nationals, check the IDs that are there, make sure that everything transferred correctly, and then check the actual videos on the site and make sure that they're opening up properly.